Hello, very, very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to the weekend edition of Primetime News. Well, we are coming to you live and direct from the News1st studios here in Colombo. I'm Joel Outscoon. First, a look at the headlines. Government expresses condolences to the victims of the Meethotamula garbage dump collapse. A special statement by the Prime Minister. Rescue operations continue in search of Meethotamula survivors. Funeral expenses of the deceased to be borne by the state. The state ceremony of the anointing of oil held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. Patients at the Chilau General Hospital suffer due to lack of infrastructure facilities. We are ready to hit back with nuclear attacks. A warning by North Korea to USA. On to our top story this evening. The death toll following the collapse of a section of the Meethotamula garbage dump continues to rise and now stands at 19. The police headquarters says that over 600 people have been affected. The rescue and relief operations are continuing.
A part of the Meethotamula garbage dump behind the Rahula College in Meethotamula collapsed last evening. A number of houses located in the Nagahamulla area, the Hampura and the Visitunevatta area were damaged in the incident. The rescue and relief operation conducted by the Sri Lanka Army, Air Force, Navy and Police Special Task Force and the police continues to take place. The commander of the Security Force Headquarters West, Major General Sudhanta Ranasinghe said that 1,000 army personnel have been deployed for the relief operations in the area.
We are carrying out an investigation as to whether there will be a second collapse. There is no sign of such a tragedy reoccurring. If there is considerable rainfall, it will affect the people because the waterways and the canals here have been blocked. We are carrying out a study to move these people to welfare centers or safe zones.
Welfare centers වලට සානදායි ස්ථානයන්ට ගෙනියන්න විධිදානය යොදලා තියෙනවා.
Police stated that a 10-member group from the Geology Unit of the Peradeniya University and a group of specialists from the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau have been called in to assist the investigation process.
What we have initially concluded is that with garbage being dumped onto one side of the dump, the weight of it caused the lower section of the dump to move up. We can clearly see that the houses that were located in this lower area have been pushed up. To ensure the safety of the area, we have deployed police officers. We urge the people not to come here to see the location. The front portion of the debris might collapse again when the area is being cleared.
The People's Movement Against the Kulonnava garbage dump expressed their views.
This was a gold mine for the politicians in the past. The Colombo Municipal Council awarded a tender worth 600 million at 800 million rupees and made sure the other 200 million went into the pockets of politicians. The garbage is being dumped using the lorries of the mayor of Kulonnava, the deputy mayor and even the councillors in the opposition. They made this a method of income. Our children have been buried with this same garbage. Over 60 families are under the debris. The politicians who created this mountain of garbage used it for petty political gains.
The People's Movement Against the Kulonnava garbage dump also expressed these views.
We have to state clearly that we were invited by the Prime Minister in February of 2015. He said that a solution will be provided within 6 months. When 6 months passed, they bombed the election. Up until today, they have not solved this problem. We have to state this clearly. Mahinda Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, all these people should be sent to prison on charges of murder. They have to be given the death penalty. All these politicians who did not take any action while we were suffering for 6 years should resign. We did not come and settle near this garbage dump. They put up the garbage where we lived. The struggle is not to leave this place, but to move the garbage dump.
අපේ අරගලේ උනේ කුණු කන්දයි කරන.
මේ ගමේ මධ්‍යමතිවරු ඉන්නවා.
There are ministers here. There are ministers in the surrounding areas. They come here and make up their voter base. After they go into parliament, no one comes here. All they say is that when they go into parliament, they will inform the president and the prime minister and provide solutions within 2 or 3 weeks. We were all deceived. That is what happened.
ඔයගේ දේවල් කරලා අපි අන්තිමට අගාධයටම ගිහලා අපි රවටිච්ච විතරයි උනේ.
Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development, Sagal Ratnayaka, also arrived in the area today.
Give me a second. ඔයගොල්ලෝ අපිට උදව් කරන්න මේ වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්න සාමතරව ඉස්සෙල්ලාම පළවෙනි දවස් දෙකේ කොහෙද කන්නේ කොහොමද කන්නේ ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් මේක අපි බලලා ඊට පස්සේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා විසඳුමට යන්නේ කොහාටද අපි ආලිකේ ස්ථාන ගන්න ඒවා වන්දි මොදල් ඒක නැත්තම් මාස ගණන් අපි දැක ගන්න අපේ මේ ගණන් අවුරුදු ගණන් අපි අද හෙට ඇතුළේ
International media stations are also reporting from the site and heard from residents of Meethotamulla who are affected by the collapse of the garbage dump.
So last evening around 3 o'clock I got a call from my sister, who was with my mother and 2 children. As you can see the heap behind, that's where the house was situated. She got thrown off like something coming from underneath like an explosion, and she was thrown along with the she was somewhere around the toilets. She was thrown along with the concrete block right up to that heap, which is about 30 feet above the floor level. We are still unable to find the mother. The 2 kids are still missing, and rescue operations are not up to the standard, but anyway still it's going on. There were flood situations some time back, and there we all asking was to give us a solution, either to move out or to secure the place, which has been dragging on and off. The RDA comes, the UDA comes. Nothing is being done, and this is the final result. So what more do you want? And thank God so far I have not seen any politician. Thank God they are not come, because the army and the police, they are doing a good job coordinating things.
Western Provincial Councillor Susil Kindalpitia says that he is willing to go before the courts in order to obtain justice to those who were affected by the collapse of the garbage dump in Meethotamulla.
Together with the chairman of the Provincial Council, I managed to remove 10 families from this location last week through the Urban Commissioner. We had to fight for it. Then they tried to provide rent for these families. A group including some politicians tried to stop a few from leaving. They were deceiving the people. We always said that this cannot be done and the people need to vacate the location. We knew that this would happen. We would like to ask the Urban Commissioner why he didn't evacuate the people. False promises were given to the people. Politicians were listening. I told the media not to come here when the disaster struck. I said the same to the politicians as well. That situation has now arisen. I would like to ask the Commissioner, whose business needs were you trying to fulfill by not removing these people from this location? Why is garbage being dumped in this location even now? At least now reveal this contractor and the business deals. We said that these are underhand business deals. The Urban Commissioner was not ready to reveal all of this. I will go before the Supreme Court next week to file a case with my own money to request for information on these corrupt business deals, and we will reveal who is responsible. If the Commissioner does not reveal this information, we will file charges against him under Right for Information Act.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe released a statement from Japan stating that the government expresses its condolences to the victims of the Meethotamulla garbage dump collapse.
The Prime Minister in his special statement notes that as soon as he received information on the incident, orders were issued to all parties to take immediate action. Ranil Wickremesinghe reiterates that he will not go back on the promise that was given to remove the Meethotamulla garbage dump from its current location. The statement adds that the President has also advised the Prime Minister to speed up the process of relocating the garbage dump. It also notes that a detailed statement on the incident will be made by the government once all reports on it have been gathered.
A special discussion was held at the Ministry of Disaster Management today about the steps that should be taken with regard to the situation at the Meethuttamulla garbage dump.
The media did not have the opportunity to cover and report on the special meeting. The media also expresses displeasure regarding the actions of the Director General of Information, Dr. Ranga Kalansurya, in this regard. The Secretary to the Ministry of Mass Media, Attorney at Law Nimal Bopage, issuing a release, has requested the cooperation of everyone with regard to the relief and rescue operations that are being carried out in the area. In such a backdrop, the Director General of Information has taken steps to cover up the decisive meeting that was held by the government representatives. These actions resulted in the government losing the opportunity to provide answers to the questions and queries that the media has to raise. Politicians too were tight-lipped over a long period of time when Newsfirst reported on the Meethuttamulla garbage issue on several previous occasions. Newsfirst spoke to the attendees of this meeting held at the Ministry of Disaster Management, and we are now able to report to you on the details that were discussed at this special meeting.
Even though this meeting was held behind closed doors, it is our responsibility to bring you details that were discussed during this meeting. Therefore, we took the initiative of speaking with some officials who took part in this meeting.
A decision has been made by the government to handle the funeral expenses of the victims. Compensation for those affected through this incident will be paid as soon as possible. There was an attempt by various individuals to point the finger at politicians or officials. This is an issue that has existed for quite some time. Whenever attempts were made to resolve this issue, they were thwarted because of public as well as political protests. Such protests only create mountains of garbage at various locations. My ministry has already called for tenders to dispose garbage in Colombo, Karadiana and Gampaha. It will take at least 2 years to streamline this process. Until then, we should find a proper place to dispose this garbage.
කොළඹ කසල අපි කොහේ හරි විධිමත්ව අපහරණය කළ යුතුමයි. මීතුරුමුල්ලට තවත් කුණු ගේන්න හැකියාවක් නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා తాවකාලික
We cannot dump garbage in Meethuttamulla anymore. So a decision was reached to dump garbage from Colombo in Dompe and Karadiana for the next 2 weeks. There is a legal issue pertaining to Karadiana, so we have advised the Colombo Municipal Commissioner to reach a settlement with the magistrate in the area for the next 2 weeks. I believe we will reach a permanent decision on where to dump garbage in the coming days. This committee will convene at 10 a.m. tomorrow under the auspices of the President, and a review will be done on the decisions that were reached today. We will obtain the advice of the President as well on how to implement these decisions.
ඒවා ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා ජනපතිතුමාගේ උපදෙස් අරගෙන වැඩ කටයුතු ඉස්සරහට කරගෙන යන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මේකට ආණ්ඩුවක් කියන්න ඕන. පෞගේ ආණ්ඩුව කාලේ මේක ගෙනලා දැම්මත් මේ ආණ්ඩුවට මේ අවුරුදු දෙක ඇතුළතදී
The government should be responsible for this, even though this dump began under the previous government. The current government for the past 2 years could not even stop the dumping of garbage at this location. They were hampered by various protests, and this situation developed into a national disaster where our people had to pay with their lives. We call on the government to stop dumping garbage here at least now and save our people. The government cannot simply escape by paying a small sum as compensation. The funerals of the victims must be paid for by the state. These victims must receive adequate compensation. These people should be given new homes in the Kolonnawa Pradesh Sabha area. This is our demand.
වෙනත් ස්ථානයක නිවාස හදාදීම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කරන්න ඕන. ඒක තමයි අපේ බල කිරීම. ඒකත් එක්ක මේ කොළොන්නාවට කුණු කියන එක නතර විය යුතුයි.
අපිට ආරංචියක් ආවා ආපදා කළමනාකරණ මධ්‍යස්ථානයේදී සාකච්ඡාවක් යනවා.
We got to know that a meeting was held at the Disaster Management Center. Those who attended the meeting were politicians. But how many of these politicians are from Kolonnawa? How many were born and raised here? And how many of them spoke about the issues surrounding the garbage dump every day? I am the only provincial councillor from this area who got over 34,000 votes. However, I was not invited for this meeting. I am not saying I needed an invitation, but politicians who are with the people at the grassroots level and know of this issue are being overlooked while they simply summon whoever they want. They also take media channels selected by them for these meetings. We don't need meetings to help people. We will work with the government officials to help the people, or we will work in a private capacity to provide relief for the victims. However, we cannot allow this to be spun into a politically motivated incident. Understand the issue at least now. Stop exploiting this issue for political gains. Meet with the people and resolve this. How many ministers and MPs represent Colombo? The Minister of Finance is from Colombo. There are countless MPs. But how many people came here to look into the plight of these people?
මන්ත්‍රීවරු මෙහෙ 100 ගාණක් ආව ඡන්ද ගන්න. ඡන්ද කාලේ. හැබැයි මේ කවුරුත් මේ වෙනකොට මෙහෙ කී දෙනාද මෙහෙ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ?
The state festival of anointing oil for the Singali and Tamil New Year took place at the Sri Natha Devale in Kandy this morning. President Maithripala Sirisena presided over the event.
The Mahanayaka of the Askeri chapter, Most Venerable Varakaguda Sri Jnanaratana Thera, anointed oil on President Maithripala Sirisena at the auspicious time of 11:04 this morning. For this tradition, one must be clad in blue and face north. The event was graced by the Mahanayakas of the Malvatu and Askeri temples. Minister of Health Dr. Rajitha Senaratna, Central Province Governor Niluka Ekanayaka, other ministers and parliamentarians, Devadan Nilame of the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, Pradeep Nilangadala, and the Basnayaka Nilame of the Sri Natha Devalaya, Dayan Heen Kenda, were among those present for the occasion. The President thereafter opened the renovated Sri Natha Devalaya, which was renovated after a century. President Maithripala Sirisena also attended the event to declare open the golden fence erected around the bow tree at the premises. The official website of the Pitisara Devalaya was launched today. The tradition of anointing oil dates back to ancient history with the blessing for long life and prosperity. The indigenous community in Damana also took part in a similar ceremony. The event was graced by their leader Uru Arge Vanilatto and took place in Kotabakiniya in Damana. Before taking part in this ceremony, the indigenous community visits a place called Hetma to place oil in memory of the dead. The ceremony of anointing oil at the Elephant Orphanage in Pinnavala took place under the auspices of Minister of Sustainable Development and Wildlife, Kamini Javikrama Pereira.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe departed for Vietnam today for a 3-day official tour.
According to the Prime Minister's media unit, the Premier is undertaking the visit based on an invitation extended by his Vietnamese counterpart, Nguyen Xuan Phu. The aim of the visit is to strengthen existing ties with Vietnam and develop new ties in the fields of trade, industry and commerce. A release issued by the Prime Minister's media unit states that during the visit, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe and his delegation will engage in discussions with the Premier as well as senior ranking members of the Vietnamese government. The Prime Minister's delegation also includes Ministers Mahinda Amaravira, Harin Fernando and Manu Ganeshan.
The report from Action TV now follows.
With the establishment of the provincial council system, all hospitals in the Chilau district were removed from the direct inspection of the Linear Ministry. Until 2011, Chilau was the only district that did not have a single hospital that came under the inspection of the central government. Making an end to this, Chilau Base Hospital, one of the 3 base hospitals in the district, was taken over by the central government. This was done because the North-Western Provincial Council was unable to maintain the hospital in a manner that would fulfill the needs of the patients. After being taken over by the central government, the hospital became a general hospital, but the ministry was unable to appoint a director to the hospital for 6 years. It was only 2 months ago that a qualified doctor was appointed as the director to the hospital. Prior to that, the hospital was managed under an acting director for 6 years. A stranger to the area would have difficulty in identifying these premises as a hospital because the name board, which was removed for renovation in November last year, has still to be put up. This footage bears testament to the fact that there are many other pressing problems in this hospital. I came here on Monday. From Monday to Friday, I did not get a bed. I had to get my saline while on another patient's bed. I was on the bench outside. I got wet in the rain last night. Now only I am sitting in this chair inside the building. One of the main reasons for this hospital to be taken over by the central government is the provincial council's failure to obtain land to expand the hospital in order to provide more services to the public. However, even after it being taken over by the central government, the issue pertaining to land has not been resolved. Accordingly, Of the hospitals that come under the central government, Chilaw Base Hospital is the only hospital in the island that did not experience any infrastructure development for the past 6 years. At present, not only patients from Chilaw but patients from Kurunegala and Anuradhapura districts do arrive at this hospital for various medical services. The 20 wards that were in the hospital have now been reduced to 18 due to one building being demolished while another is being abandoned due to its dilapidated condition. Chilaw Hospital is at present facing a serious problem in providing in-house treatment to its patients in battling the spreading epidemics affecting the country at present. I was under this tree since last night. I'm still here. Because there is no place for the patients to stay, they have to stay under trees. This situation has arisen due to the large numbers that come to the hospital. We are saddened by this. Even the nurses are feeling sorry. It is important to identify the reasons as to why the Chilaw Base Hospital has not been able to provide more services than the Putlam and Maravilla Base hospitals that come under the direct purview of the North-Western Provincial Council, even after being taken over by the central government. Shouldn't speedy solutions be sought for these problems? Secretary to the Ministry of Health, this is over to you.
A foreign national was arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport today in possession of 2 kilograms of heroin worth over 20 million rupees.
The arrested suspect has been identified as a 48-year-old Iranian national who had arrived from Dubai. The suspect, who arrived at the BIA last night, had been loitering at the airport terminal until dawn today and was eventually apprehended by custom officials who grew suspicious of his behavior. Thorough inspection of the suspect's belongings had revealed the stock of heroin. Customs spokesperson Dharmasena Khandev, speaking to News1st, said that the suspect is being interrogated.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa took part in an oil anointing ceremony in Tangol today.
The event took place at the Carlton residence of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. During the event, the former president extended his wishes to the public for a prosperous new year.
With that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime Weekend News. Thank you very much for stopping by. Well, the latest and trending stories follows on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. Have yourself a great evening. Take care. Good night.